So I'm turning it over to Mr. Ferdman, and he will take us through the meeting agenda.
Well, good evening, everyone. Tonight, our meeting agenda, we'll have our call to order and our flag salute as normal. We'll have the minutes of the last meeting, if there are any additions or corrections. Then we're going to have a presentation on Habitat for Heroes and a new project that's going to be occurring here in Santa Clarita, and I think it's really a great thing. Carl Goldman and his friends will be here to talk about it. Then we'll talk about the Newhall Library grand opening. Judy Tallur will give us a presentation. After that, we're going to get into a lot of interesting things that are going on. I'm hoping we're going to be able to get through all of them. First of all, this is news from City Hall. We want to talk a little bit about the welcome event for Jake's Way that took place this last weekend. The Canyon Country outreach plan, we have an update on it and we have more information about it and the start of the outreach effort. We attended a code enforcement focus group meeting, and we want to tell you the results of that. They had 3 meetings, and I think Wendy Albright was at the second one, and Spence and myself and Berta were at the third. Then there was a proposal for changing the city council norms. It was at the last city council meeting, and we'd like to talk a little bit about that because it definitely seems as if it is a method by which some of our council members are trying to abdicate their responsibilities. Lastly, we'll talk about a Shadow Pines community meeting, the Shadow Pines community meeting, an improvement plan for Shadow Pines. It was something that the neighbors wanted to hear about, and the meeting was held last week. And then we'll go through another chloride update. I know you must be getting tired of chloride, but you know it is the gift that keeps on giving. Whenever we think we know how much it costs, we get a little more information, find out it's going to cost just a little bit more. So we'll remind you about your property tax bill that you just got if you've read it, and you might have noticed that it's went up a little. And we want to talk about how much more it's going to cost for this new plant, because so far no one's been talking about how much it takes to run the plant after you build it. So we'll talk about that a little bit also. And the sanitation district, as you recall, contracted an outfit, Political Opinion Strategies, to do a survey for them. And we're going to give you the results of that survey, and that might be why everything's slowing down. You'll get to see exactly what your friends and neighbors think. Then our version of public participation, which is the first 5 people that want to speak for 1 minute at the end of the meeting, and a preview of the next meeting. And by the way, we'll say this several times. We're going to have a little change for the November meeting. Remember, we're dark in December. We don't meet in December. And in this case, the November meeting would have come just before Thanksgiving. So we got permission to move the meeting to the 4th Wednesday of the month so that everybody can enjoy Thanksgiving and then come visit us before we close off for the holiday. And then we'll adjourn. In our tribute tonight, I'm sure everybody saw on September 30th there was a lot of news services reporting the 2,000th service member killed in Afghanistan. And you know, it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of people putting their lives on the line. It's a lot of sacrifice, and sometimes it might seem like, why are we really there? But then we see something in the news, which we saw just a day or two ago, with a 14-year-old girl in Pakistan being shot for just speaking out what she believed, and you can understand the importance that all of our troops are doing around the world. So God bless our heroes in uniform. There's heroes with us around us all the time, and I think they're doing a tremendous job. So with that, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Thank you for the lead-in. You put your right hand over your heart and follow with me. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. For announcements, I just wanted to let everybody know that we were at the 18th Annual River Rally. took place right behind the in the shopping center where the 91351 post office is on Soledad. Merle and Rick and his granddaughter and I were our team there, and we had a good time. We actually set a record for the number of people that wanted to get on our email list. We ended up with like 22 names, so that was it was a really good activity, and it went really well. College of the Canyons specifically asked that we let everybody know about their Star Party. It's going to be on Friday, October the 19th, so it'll be this Friday, 7 to 9:30 p.m., and you can go stargazing with them at the Canyon Country campus, which is just up the road on Sierra Highway. Want more information? 362-3801, and I'm sure they'll be happy to let you know more about what's going on. The next meeting of the Whitaker-Burmite Citizen Advisory Group, the CAG, will be on Wednesday, November the 7th, 2012. That's a group that talks about contamination, particularly of the Whitaker-Burmite site, and also chloride contamination in our well water. So if you're interested in that, show up at the Santa Clarita United Methodist Church on Bouquet Canyon from 7 to 9 p.m. on November the 7th. And I'll email the address and so forth out to everybody with the video links this month. I thought it was very interesting. One of the things that we did when we went to the Jake's Way Welcome to the City was the fire department was there. And they specifically asked, Stephanie English specifically asked if we would talk about and remind everybody about some of the scams that are going on around Santa Clarita right now. And this primarily with businesses where people will dress up in kind of a phony uniform and tell you that they need to inspect your business location or your property, and then come and send you a bill for that inspection. Fire department wants to remind you that they do not charge for those inspections, and so if anybody has somebody that is trying to perpetrate that scam, it would be really great. Call the LA County Fire Department and let them know. I'm sure they'll be very, very interested. Also, another scam warning from the Sheriff's Department. It was in the Signal, but I think it's, and it's not the first time I've seen it, but it is a very interesting scam, and that is when an imposter will call you on the phone and tell you that a family member has been incarcerated or involved in an accident, and they're trying to inform you about how you can gain information. And what they ask you to do is they ask you to call a number for that information that starts with *72, and then you'll be able to get the information that you want. And that's the actual number that they are at. And when the victim hangs up and calls the number, they're told that they have a wrong number. And after that, most of the time, the family member or whoever it is will try to get the real information. But in the meantime, what's happened, because you gave a prefix *72, you've just forwarded all of your phone calls to that other location. And so when you forwarded all your phone calls to that other location, it allows, particularly in this case convicts, to collect calls which they'll accept on your bill. And it won't change until you go through and reset that by dialing *73. So that's an interesting way that they've figured out, our convicts have figured out to work the system. So if you receive this kind of call claiming a relative is in jail and you don't really think so, or you believe you're part of the scam, I say what you should do is call our local sheriff's station, and you should have that number memorized by now, 255-1121, and report the incident so they can get busy. I wanted to let everybody know that 3 spots are open on the Hart Bond Measure V Oversight Panel. The Oversight Panel is one that accommodates expenditures of $158 million. You would serve a 2-year term. One of the people they're looking for would be a senior. Not that we would have any seniors in our group, but so that you know that no matter what, you would be able to apply for it. If you want to apply, we'll give you the website, and the deadline is November 7th at 4 p.m., so you have plenty of time to go ahead and do that. I think there's some items of interest that I've been getting more and more interested about. Here again, it sent out a notice to the email list for notifications of meetings by the city. And the oversight board for the former redevelopment agency, which would be the oversight board for the successor agency, was canceled again. So what I'm thinking about doing is that next year, in January, I'm going to go pull all the minutes of the whole year from the council. And I want to see exactly, because, you know, there's supposed to be the library board of trustees and the successor agency and the city council. I'd like to see just how many times they actually talk about the successor agency or have something on the agenda about the board of library trustees throughout the whole year. And I think it's going to be very interesting, and I think there's going to be some other people that think it's interesting as well. Orange Line Development Authority, I think, is an interesting meeting because it happens to be something that Marcia McLean is very interested in. And so all of a sudden now, when they go down there to talk about the Orange Line, there's a teleconference location in Santa Clarita so you can see the meeting live. I'm wondering why the chloride meetings, the sanitation board meetings, aren't televised. I'm wondering why a lot of these meetings that are held in other places a long ways away, why this is the only one that's done. And you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be asking that question, and we'll see what kind of answer we get. If you're a business owner, keep plugging these guys because the Canyon Country Merchants Association is going to be a group that will have a great deal of influence with the city. And if you are a business owner and you want to join the Merchants Association, it meets the second Thursday of the month. The contact is Doug Sutton. You do not have to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce to join, and I think it would behoove you to take that advice and attend those meetings. Lastly, if you want to adopt a duck, the 10th Annual Rubber Ducky Festival will be October the 27th. There's the link to that 60-second video that I sent you the link to about the Ducky Regatta. And so it's the actual event is free. And if you want to adopt a duck, ducks are adoptable at $5, and then you can have a duck in the race. It's kind of like having a horse in the race, but smaller. Looking at our attendance, it's kind of held up well for the year. I know during the summer it was unbearably hot, and I'm appreciative that everybody continued to show. So it's still looking good. Video statistics, you'll notice that second spike, the second spike that occurred in June is for a 4-minute memo, for something that occurs only for 4 minutes and happens pretty rapidly, and people continue to watch it. I was just surprised that the 39 views for last month, the duck had the record. So it was interesting that that happened. But we'll continue to track it and try to make these videos as appealing to our public as possible, and use them to the most effective way that we can. On our next meeting, it'll be the last meeting of the year. As I announced at the beginning of this meeting, because of Thanksgiving, for this next meeting and this next meeting only, it's been changed to the fourth Wednesday of the month, November the 28th, and we will be dark in the month of December. On the agenda already is Pastor George Leary. He'll be here to talk about the Church of Hope's food pantry. And I want to remind you to mark your calendar for the Canyon Country Community Center meeting to be held on Wednesday, November the 7th at the Activity Center from 6 to 8 p.m. And I'll make sure to get you the address there and send it out to everybody when we send out the video links. So I want to thank you all again for choosing to come to the Canyon Country Advisory Committee, and I hope that we'll see you again next month.